back. We back. Like we back like we never left. We back like we never left with another episode, another conversation. I really do appreciate you talking and bringing the people and just opening your heart and coming to the people raw and real.
Shoot, I appreciate you putting me in this position to be able to do
Well,
it.
actually, you put me in this position.
Well, however, but
technically, this is your
technically,
fruit.
this is you're my fruit from my tree.
Yeah, but you didn't know that you were priming me up for such a time as this.
And I did not, never.
Well, obedience is better than sacrifice.
Yeah, of course.
One thing about it is we don't know that the stuff we do now is critical to our future.
Yes, it is.
Right? Yes. You was just doing the right thing back then, raising us kids and raising me. And you didn't know how it would play a part in your future.
I sure didn't.
Welcome back. I'm healing with Mom.
Yeah.
You know that she experienced a heartache at the tender age of 76. Having your heart broke at 76 is no different than having your heart broke at 26
or at 16
or at 16 or at 6
or at 6.
Yeah. You know, it's all the same type of healing. So we're just going on this journey. We danced a little today.
I know.
Let some stuff out.
Yeah, I couldn't pop that fan with the boots on the ground. I don't know how they popped that fan.
Listen, you just gotta work on it. Y'all make sure you check out the video. She was popping that fan. You will be so proud of her by the end. She got it. You got it, girl.
Okay, I got it.
You are busting moves approved.
All right.
I wouldn't say it if it wasn't so. I'll be like, don't tell nobody I taught you that.
Okay.
You can tell them.
Yeah,
Marie
taught me that.
Yes.
Busting moves.
Okay,
yes.
So if you haven't checked out the previous episode 1 and 2, we talked about all the stuff that made us want to puke.
Way all sick.
Yeah. If you want the background, you got to go back and listen to episode 1 and 2 to hear about what's going on and what happened. What had happened was.
We're not going to cover that ananymore.
What had happened was, or on the previous episodes. But now we're moving forward. We're going to take it back to the beginning because we want to go back and know who this woman is and how she really didn't deserve what just happened today, but how it played or where she come from plays a part in where she's going.
Yes.
And just to get to know you as a person, as a woman, besides my mom, to get to know you. And I hope that as we talk about this, that you guys, you have aunts, grandmothers, women in your life who you really need to know about them. Yeah. You need to know more than that they're just your mom, that they're just your sister or your aunt or your grandmother even. Ask them, as I asked her, you ask your people.
Yeah, what was your life like? What were you doing back then?
Yeah, it's good to know because you're going to find out some stuff about yourself along the way. And you're going to find some stuff out about them that, is more than just a relative. Yeah. That they're actually a human being with real life, that you experience stuff, that you're a person. You're not just my mom.
I'm not just your mom. I'm not just a sister, and I'm not just an auntie or grandmother,
right? So we're all going to learn something, and I encourage you to do the same with your people as well. But today we're going to dig back. We're going to go back, right? We're going to go back. We're going to go back to little girl dreams, okay? Tell me about you. Like, when were you born? Where were you born? To whom were you born? Tell me a little bit about that.
Oh, geez. I know I was born in 1948. Okay. November 1st.
All Saints Day.
All Saints Day.
So you was born a saint.
Amen. See, God knows you before you're in the womb. So November 1st, 1948, I was born. My mom and my dad. He was in the Army, so I was born in Fort Sam, Houston, Texas.
Oh, okay.
I was born on an Army base, and my mom was living in Texas with my grandma.
Okay.
Viola Good.
Okay.
My mom was Maxine Lucas at the time. My dad was Donnell Woods.
Okay.
So they got married, had a big wedding. I don't remember. I wasn't born yet. Okay. But seeing pictures of their wedding, they had a nice big wedding. One of those old-fashioned pictures.
You saw pictures?
I saw pictures that my grandma had. I haven't seen them since, but I was born in November 1st, 1948. Okay. I'm an Army brat.
Do you know why they named you Doris?
Yes.
Okay.
My grandma Goo's best friend, we called her my Aunt Gracie.
Aunt Gracie named you. Okay.
Yes. She was like our childhood aunt from the time I was born up until till she passed. But she named me Doris Nell to be named after my dad because his firstborn was not a boy. So we couldn't name him Donnell Jr.
One thing
so
about
they
the Black
named me,
community.
they want their first one to be a boy. So they named me Doris Nell as a take of Donnell.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. One thing the Black community do is gonna remix some names, especially if it's a girl and the dad one of the boys.
Yes.
His name Luther. Your name gonna be Luthania. You know, we gonna remix some names, but they did good. Doris instead of Donnell.
Yes.
Doris Nell
Yes,
instead
Doris
of Donnell.
Yeah, that's how I became Doris Nell.
Okay. Okay. And you was the
firstborn.
So you were only child for how long?
Well, you know how it was like probably 13 months later.
Oh.
my sister Gloria was born.
Oh, so that's
so
like
we're the same age for the whole month.
Okay, so they call it Irish twins.
Yeah, whatever they call it. No, Irish twins anyway. Her birthday's in September. In October we're the same age, and then November I become older than her.
Oh, okay, okay. So yeah, I think they call that Irish twins when you have a baby so close that they the same age for a little while.
Yeah.
I mean, you wasn't out the hospital 5 seconds and you was pregnant again. And I think you did that too.
I did that with my first two.
Wow. I almost did it. Yeah. I did have 2 in Pampers, but that just show you how the generations, man. That stuff is real.
Yeah, so I don't remember much of my childhood in Texas Club because my mom had 3 of us.
Oh, okay.
Mom and dad had 3 of us. Me, my sister Gloria, and my brother Larry. So we were 3 siblings of Donnell. And so after that, she had a 4th child, William. So there were 4 of us, me, my sister Gloria, Larry, and William. There were 4 of us. I turned 3 years old. My mom and dad broke up, and she moved to Milwaukee.
Oh.
Yeah, so she left Texas when I was the oldest. I was the oldest at 3.
Okay, so you don't remember nothing about Texas?
I don't remember nothing about Texas as a 3-year-old.
As a 3-year-old, okay.
But over the years, I have a whole lot of memories of Texas.
Okay, yeah, of course. Yeah. But as a little girl. Do you remember when you guys moved to Milwaukee?
I was only 3 years old, so I can't remember when we moved to Milwaukee or what happened all that time. I just remember probably from age. When we first go to elementary school, I remember
like
first
6?
elementary. Yeah, I remember first elementary school, which was 3rd Street School. Okay. On 3rd Street in Milwaukee.
How was school for you as a little girl?
School was fun. I love school. I was the nerd of the family. Okay. Everybody knew that I loved books and I loved school. And the fun thing about school is they used to have spelling bees.
Okay.
And I would always win the spelling bees. And the thing about it was what they give you for prizes were hair ribbons. So I would wear those hair ribbons to church every Sunday.
So school was nice for you. Enjoyed.
Yeah, I love the one thing about 3rd Street School. You know how the fire escapes used to be stairs. Theirs was like a slide. So we would when we have fire drills, we would go down the slide.
Really?
Down the building, yeah.
So it wasn't like a pole like at the fire station, but it was
a slide,
park slide.
Like park slide.
Really?
That went around and down to the ground. And then when school was out on weekends, we would climb up the slide and slide back down just for fun.
Now, they need to bring that back. Why did they take that away?
I don't know.
Because that sounds like a quicker way to get somebody out of the building.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, it's real. Yeah, you're right about that.
As a little girl, being the big sister, did you have a lot of responsibilities or?
Talking about the 4 of us, by the time my mom moved back to Milwaukee, she had 5 more. So there were 9 of us all together.
Whoa.
There was like a 4-year difference, and then she had 5 more.
Whoa.
So 9, I'm the oldest of 9, 6 girls and 3 boys. So that was a lot.
She had them really fast and close together.
Yeah, grandma was upset.
Because she was the only child.
Yeah, she was mom was the only child, but she wound up having 9.
I guess she didn't want to be alone.
Yeah, she said that about being married.
Oh, yeah, that's interesting. So her not want to be alone as a woman, that could have all stemmed from being the only child.
Yeah, that probably could be.
That's interesting. Like you don't want to be alone, so you're gonna have a bunch of kids and a bunch of spouses.
Yep, that's what she did. And being the oldest of 9 was a lot of responsibility because she worked a lot, so I had to be at home, cook, clean, and make sure they did their homework and iron So I know all about domestic stuff
Okay.
in terms of house domesticating, watching kids and watching the house.
Okay.
So that was a big responsibility, but I carried it well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did your siblings listen to you?
Yeah, they listen. Yeah, they listen to me. The funny thing about it is especially the younger siblings. You know, the younger you are, the less discipline you get. You know,
yeah.
They were much more wilder than four of us older ones were. So
yeah.
it was really a challenge watching them because they would be sneaking out the house.
And that's a lot.
Yeah, there was,
a
a lot
of
of challenges.
you guys.
Yeah, it was a lot. But one of the things that I'll say that kept us Texas bound is our mom would every year take us to Texas to be with her mother and her husband. So they had a farm with chickens and pigs and all that stuff, and wringing chickens' necks and eating them and cooking them. Good girls.
You killed a chicken
before? I never killed it, but I watched it.
Oh. And then ate it?
Yeah, then ate it. Oh. Yeah, I know. You won't think what you wouldn't eat back in the day.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because then there were squirrels and rabbits and all that stuff that we used to eat.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. But every summer we went to Texas religiously.
Yeah.
It was by car or by train. Okay. And most of the time we traveled by train.
And she made it happen for all of you. That was a big deal.
Yeah, she made it happen for all 9 kids. And then 3 or 4 of our siblings wound up staying with our grandmother. Okay. Because she was like, Maxine, every time I see you, you pregnant.
Okay. So let me take some of them babies.
Let me take some of these babies off your hands. So she raised a couple of us. Okay. And then every year she would send us clothes. She would probably go to the thrift stores and stuff like that. And every year we would look forward to a box coming from our grandma. Okay. And going through all the clothes that she would give us. Did you like the things she sent you? Yeah, well, you loved it. It was just like Christmas in July because she would send it in the summertime.
So with grandma having so many children, was there a lot of struggle there?
No, when I think about it, I can't remember us being hungry. Okay. I don't remember us needing clothes, none of that stuff. When I try to think back, what did we miss a meal? Was there something that we missed? Nothing. Christmases, we all got the same. We always got a doll and dishes. The boys always got a gun and holster and that kind of stuff. We always had Christmas. We never missed a meal. That one thing I did, I would always try to think back. Were we poor? Maybe we were or not.
Yeah. But sometimes being together outweighs being poor. Yeah. So, poor is a spirit. Yeah. So y'all had a rich spirit.
We had a rich spirit, and we were spiritually,
so y'all went to church.
We went to church. People remember. I know a lot of y'all remember. We used to go to church 3 days a week, all day Sunday. You had BYU, you had Bible study. Oh my! You had Sunday school. You had the Christian Leadership Conference, choir rehearsal. You was in the choir. You was on the usher board. You did Easter speeches. You did Christmas speeches. Yeah. You did Mother's Day speeches. So yeah, we were spiritually strong and growing up. Yeah. Yes. Our grandma started that.
Okay. All right. Well, I think y'all kept that up pretty much, even through us. Like we didn't go that many days a week, but we still did Bible class.
Y'all didn't go church. Like we did. Church was
y'all dialed it back a little bit by the time y'all grew up.
Yeah, we call about our generation. We was trying to change the way we were growing up. Right. A lot of stuff we did. We probably should have kept in place.
I mean, it's the same way now. We try to change stuff y'all did. Now our kids trying to change. Now don't nobody go to church. No. We went from 5 days a week to 3 to 2 0. And to 1 to nothing. To nothing.
Yeah, so we were definitely raised in the church. The church was our second home. Okay. So it certainly was.
Well, that's good because God is definitely keeping us. Mm-hmm. So as a little girl, you was a good big sister and you loved school, but you mentioned that my grandmother, your mom did not want to be alone. No. And she had several children, and that means several men or husbands. Mm-hmm. How did that affect you, seeing her get married so many times?
It did not affect us. Okay. In fact, it didn't. It was like she was always going to make sure we had a stable lifestyle.
Okay. Thinking back to your childhood, when did you decide what you wanted to be when you grew up, or what did you dream? What was your dreams as a little girl? What did you want to be when you grew up? What did you envision?
When I can think about from the time I was in grade school, because most of my favorite subjects were spelling, grammar. I didn't like history and science and all that stuff, but I liked the book knowledge and stuff like that. So I always wanted to be this big executive secretary to the vice president of a firm.
Really?
Yes. That started in grade school. So I was making sure I could dot I's and cross T's.
Really?
Yes. This was one of my big things. I don't know if it's from watching television or whatever. It was just something to me about being the secretary to the boss and traveling around the world and taking your steno pad with him and doing the stuff that he wanted to do. That was always my dream.
Interesting. Interesting. Find out how that went for you.
Yeah.
But as a little girl, what about your talents? Did you have any talents that you noticed about yourself?
No, I was quite the nerd bookworm.
Just work.
Yeah, work.
Education.
Education and bookworm. I did not go to pep rallies. I didn't go to football games, basketball games, none of that kind of stuff that I don't know if normal kids do it, but that just was not me.
What kind of games did you play? Did you play?
Well, we played a few checkers, we jump rope, the usual stuff right in front of the house.
Okay.
You didn't play with neighborhood kids and play around the neighborhood back then.
Oh, okay.
You played right in front of your house.
Really?
Yeah. You didn't venture far.
So when did we start venturing down the street and down the block?
Probably when our generation
y'all was changing it again. Like, y'all can go.
That's when we started changing stuff. Y'all ain't gonna be stuck in front of the house like we was when we was kids. Okay. We felt like prisoners and stuff like that. So I didn't have any special talents, no music or nothing like that.
Okay.
But we jumped rope and played softball and did stuff like that. Yeah.
Okay. When you think about your childhood and all the good Christmases and traveling back to Texas and all these things, you sounds like you had a pretty safe childhood. But when did you start feeling unsafe in your childhood?
I started feeling unsafe when my mother married.
In Milwaukee.
Yeah, but she married him probably when I was about 6 or 7.
Okay, so a few years after that.
Years after that.
So that was kind of like right when school started.
Yeah, yeah, sure was. Come to think of it.
Yeah, that's why you start getting into your
books and stuff to probably hide the shame and stuff that was going on at that time.
Okay, so what made you feel unsafe?
He was, what's the term? S.A.?
Yeah.
I was S.A.'d as a child for a long time. And that's one of the things I took in silence.
Okay.
Because back then, I don't know about now how children deal with SA, but then you were always threatened, if you tell, kill your mama.
Oh, yeah, you see that on TV.
Yeah, so there's this threat as a little child that you have to deal with. So I had to deal with a lot of that. Like before going to school in the mornings, he would visit the bedroom.
Yeah.
And so all I could think about was just getting out the house and going to school and studying my books and trying not to think about all the things that he was doing.
Yeah. And so when you say for a long time, like,
because a child,
I know you're a child,
so my memories aren't.
It felt like forever.
It felt like forever. It felt like forever, and I know it was some years.
Okay.
I know it was for some years. Remember?
Okay.
Most of it's a blur.
Right.
I can remember all the incidences that happened.
Okay.
I just cannot remember how long it went on.
Right, but it was some years though.
It was some years.
Yeah,
and I didn't tell anybody. I didn't tell my sister. And being the older sister, they felt like I had to do it to keep them from being victims. Okay. I don't know if he even did anything to them.
Yeah, nobody ever said anything.
Nobody ever says anything.
And even back then, so you literally would be threatened not to.
You better not tell.
Oh, really?
And then there were, it was not just not telling. He was bribing you.
Okay.
Giving you money.
Okay, right.
And, the kids, you'll take money.
Yeah, yeah.
Do whatever he wants you to do. And so all the time, I was always isolated. So we would be outside playing. He'll call me in the house. I'll be like, oh, Lord.
Right.
Here we go again.
Yeah, yeah.
That kind of stuff. So.
Oh, man. So what did you do to protect yourself from that since you felt unsafe and had to have that threat?
Most of the times I would try to stay around everybody.
Okay.
So not to be alone with them, but be in the room where everybody else was. So that, but that's the only protection I could do.
Yeah.
As a little girl.
Yeah. And so when he left, thank you, Lord.
Yeah, he finally died.
Oh, he died. He didn't just leave.
He didn't just leave. In fact, 2 of my sisters were by him. And unfortunately, both of them are dead. Kathy and Cheryl.
Oh,
they were
really?
his daughters. Yeah. And they both died young.
Oh, wow. I did not know that.
Yeah.
See? Learn it.
Yeah, Kathy and Cheryl was his 2 daughters.
Really? And so he died?
Yeah,
That's
died.
The only reason he was gone?
Yeah. That's the only reason he was gone. I never told my
God do
mom.
not like ugly.
Yeah, he died eventually. And
Woo,
you
God
know,
don't play about you.
no, God don't play about me.
Oh my
But I was a
gosh, he
little
was
girl. Yeah,
horrible.
he was horrible.
He was a
He was
monster.
a monster, and all I could do, and that's what because I couldn't tell, and because I don't think it had a lot to do with my self esteem.
Yeah.
That when stuff like that happens, it lowers your self esteem, and so instead of showing my self esteem, I would just get into books and try to be outgoing and act like nothing
Yeah, you
bothered me.
buried it.
I buried it.
Because you didn't have nobody to talk
I didn't have
to.
anybody to talk to, no. And so back then, all you could do was just suffer in silence.
Yeah.
And that's one of those things that, and it carries, and it's still not over. It's
Yeah.
still there. And as I get older, and I see, even when I see you with your dad, I be, that thing is in me.
Yeah.
Because he used to love on you and hug on you and kiss on you, and I have to try to make sure. Well, I know he's not doing that to her.
Yeah,
or I'll be around my girlfriend. I was one of my girlfriend's house, and she had a boyfriend she had just met. Her daughter was sitting all on his lap.
Yeah.
And I told her, didn't mean to, but I was like, get off of his lap.
Yeah.
And she said, why you do that to my daughter? I said, because that's not her dad, and she shouldn't be sitting on his lap.
Yeah.
But so because then I'll be wondering who else are victims out there that are silent. So even today, I still look at men with little girls. Yeah. Even their own daughters.
Yeah. Because you really just don't know.
You really don't know
because you read my book, things have happened to me, but you feel so ashamed that you just don't want to talk about it, and you don't, so all that worrying you did about things like that happened to me, and it did happen to me.
Yeah,
but
not by your dad.
No, definitely not my dad, but still a man.
Yeah, right.
And you just don't know who, you just never know. And I just wish it was something that we could do to make it more comfortable for the young women, for the little girls.
Especially little girls,
to be able to talk about it.
Yeah.
But that shame runs deep because you really feel like it's something that you
think it's
allow.
your fault.
You feel like it's your feel like it's your fault.
Allow, so you give you a couple of dollars, okay. So you taking that bribe and allowing him to do that at the same time.
Yeah. So and you feel like, oh, I'm gonna get in trouble if they, you feel like you're in trouble. Yes. So I don't know if we will ever, overcome that hurdle. I have not
overcome it.
Yeah.
And still right there. And that's just something you went through.
Because you end up looking at your kids like, tell me, somebody did something. Let me know. Somebody did. I won't be mad, but they're not going to say anything. It's usually going to be when you grow up and you realize that was not right.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't think that was correct.
That was terrible. That was the worst part of my childhood that I definitely can remember. And when he died, I was glad.
Yeah, but that a lot of that stuff runs through the families. That's another curse that runs through families.
Yes, because a lot of girls have to go after their dads. It might be their uncles. Yeah, uncles. Might be a family friend or something like that.
We have to just kind of pay attention. We got to watch our kids as close as possible. We can't be with them all the time.
Right.
But being careful not to put them in situations.
Yeah, and like I said, I never told my mother. Never told her until.
Did you tell her before she passed?
I told her before she passed.
And how did she take that?
She was mad at me.
Which is what you didn't want.
For not telling her.
I know, but it's like what you didn't want. Yeah. She still was mad though.
But really, I didn't tell her. In fact, we were on a radio show talking about our experiences, and one of her friends heard me, and she called our mom up and told her.
Okay.
I just heard your daughter on the radio talking about her sexual SA as a little girl. And that's when she called me and said, that really happened. I said, yeah, it did. It did, because I couldn't tell you I was scared.
Okay.
Yeah. She said, I would have protected you.
Yeah.
But you never know. So a lot of mothers, they don't believe you. They think this you the one that did it.
Yeah, you messing with my boyfriend, you being fast.
Yeah, you being fast and all that stuff. So
not at all. Don't nobody want no grown person.
No.
In their face.
No. Exactly.
So that happened, and then you got to move on with your childhood. Of course, with that being in your mind and still in your spirit, how hard was it to like move on as a child and try to get into new things.
I guess
then you becoming a teenager.
I guess as kids you're resilient anyway. I think things just happen and you move on to the next thing as it goes. So as a teenager, it didn't bother me anymore after that.
Okay.
Except I didn't date and do stuff like that.
So it affected you.
It affected me, yeah. I didn't want to do that with no boys or nothing like that.
Okay. So you didn't have a high school sweetheart?
No, I didn't have no high school sweetheart.
You didn't have no first kiss?
No, I didn't have a first kiss.
In high school?
In high school, none of that. That's why I said I didn't go to baseball games, football games, none of that stuff.
Okay.
Didn't skip school, never skipped school a day in my life.
Okay, okay. So you kept A's?
Yeah, I kept A's. One time I got a B, came home crying. And my brother Larry, he's going to tell you to this day, she came home crying because she got a B.
B is for busters.
B is for bums.
B is for bums. I'm an A student.
I'm an A student. But I never did any of the clubs, like photography clubs, chess clubs, stuff like that. I just did my schoolwork and went home.
Okay.
And took care of the house. That's why I think I got OCD now.
Okay.
I clean the house so much as a kid. God. Now I can't stand junk nowhere.
Oh my goodness. This lady's house is immaculate. Growing up with her in her house, we really didn't have to clean up because she wanted it a certain way. And so she would just do it.
Yep. Because as we were kids, we were forced to clean up and do stuff, wash the boards, wash the clothes, iron.
I went back to that, by the way. By the time I had kids, I went back to how your mama was doing it. Because the way you did it, no way.
I washed the dishes. I did everything with y'all. This is my house. I'm keeping it clean.
Yeah.
I ain't forcing y'all to clean my house.
Oh, my goodness. This our house.
Yeah.
And we all putting in to take care of it. Yeah. Because what year did you graduate?
In 66 from high school.
Okay.
Yeah,
in 1966?
Yeah. Yeah.
High school graduate?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So what did you decide to do after high school?
School, I was in the office practice stuff.
Okay.
So, I was still trying to be that big secretary.
Yeah.
So after I got in 12th grade, we had work study. So I would go to school half a day. Then I started working as a secretary.
Okay. So your dreams were starting to come true. Okay.
I was placed in one of these press steel tank companies working in the office. So I did that for a whole year in high school.
Oh, okay.
And then after that, I went to technical college to do some secretarial course at a trade school.
A trade school.
Yeah. Got pregnant. Okay. I got pregnant.
Oh, is that
at 19? Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I got with a neighborhood boy.
Oh, okay. So you started venturing off that porch.
I started venturing off that porch, and he ventured into the basement.
Oh, okay.
While my mom at work.
Okay.
Yeah, so I got pregnant while I was in school. I was mad.
Oh, God.
That's okay.
What was it like being pregnant for the first time?
I don't know.
You don't remember?
Scared.
You were scared?
Yeah, I was scared to tell my mom.
Really?
At 19,
So wait, so did she find out early, or you had to start showing?
I had to start showing. I told her right away.
Okay. Do you remember giving birth?
No.
Wow.
I just remember being in the hospital and the nurse naming her.
Oh, the nurse named her Victoria?
Yeah.
Wow.
The nurse named her. I remember.
So people back then didn't name their own kids?
I don't know.
You wasn't, your mama didn't name you? You didn't name your first daughter?
I guess so.
I
guess now y'all name y'all kids and name them everything but Shamika Wika. And you need some other people to name your kids.
So you won't pick nothing.
Name them after cars,
right?
Mercedes,
we merge names. We name them pronouns and stuff. we name them verbs.
Yeah, so
verb or
verb. It's
action, right? Patience, to have patience. Yeah. So we name them everything. And then we changed the spelling up because I got a Christopher, but I changed it to a K.
Yeah, so all that happened.
So maybe we need somebody to name her.
Everything changes with time.
Interesting.
Yeah, that's when I got pregnant. I didn't finish that. No.
That changed everything.
Yeah, that changed the course of my life after that.
So you had the baby. Did you stay with the man? Did y'all get married?
No, we never got married, but he was in her life for a while, and then he went to jail.
Oh, okay.
He was in and out of jail.
Is that why y'all broke up? Because he went to jail?
Yeah.
Would you consider that a heartbreak?
I don't know.
You wasn't in love?
I don't know. I don't know what I was doing.
Oh, you just had a baby?
I had a baby. I was doing something.
You don't remember feeling that love?
I do remember love liking him a lot.
You didn't
I
love.
don't know about the. I guess it was love. I don't know.
No, you would know if it was love. You know how with
Well,
this
then I was
husband,
love, and I think it was just one of them things that happened.
one of them things
Yeah,
that happened.
yeah, it just happened.
Yeah, it's like
Because it wasn't like we was trying to get married to be together.
because you know,
He
like
was in
how
and out of jail. He's just one of the neighborhood folks.
okay,
Yeah,
okay. So you know how like now you feel your heart aching
yeah.
from the you know from this situation, and you said it was like the first time you ever felt loved
Love, yeah,
and love.
yeah.
So now you can use that as an example to say if that's what you felt, because you
Yeah.
can't say my heart was broke.
No,
We had a baby and he broke my heart.
No,
None of that.
mm-mm.
Interesting.
Very interesting, but no,
Interesting.
going through the motions.
Well, that
That
is
might have had a lot to do with my, I don't know, my low self-esteem or
yeah.
something, you know, just
Just
trying to go
doing
into
things,
something
trying
that
to you know
makes
probably
it-
trying to get away from that still.
Yeah, still.
What about when you had your baby? Was you when you first saw her?
She was beautiful.
Yeah.
I remember that.
You
Yeah,
do.
yeah. That was my first one.
Okay.
She was beautiful.
All right.
She still is.
Yeah, yeah. Next week we're gonna be talking about motherhood and when you start having us.
Yeah.
And how did we get into your life?
Oh Lord,
you know,
yeah.
how you moved on to that, and then how you was a mother. We know how your mother was. We want to hear about how you were as a mother and what it was like having children and having all of us and raising all of us.
Yeah.
So we're gonna get into that next time. Life takes twists and turns.
Oh, it takes a whole lot of twists and turns and with memories.
That's
of
good
elementary
because you
school.
got family and you
Yeah.
lived a life.
I remember everything. now,
Yeah,
just
you're
about.
76, but you were 6 before,
Mhm.
and you were 16.
Yeah. 26, 36,
Yeah,
46.
and we're gonna get on down that road talking
Mhm.
about that, and I thank you for sharing.
Yeah, because I still haven't talked about how I got my bachelor's degree, my master's
Oh
degree.
yeah, you went on to further. You
Yeah,
kept
I
that
did
smarts.
that. Yeah,
You
I
kept
kept
them
the
smarts
smarts, yeah.
going. You kept them
Yeah,
smarts
I kept them
going.
4 points going on even in there.
Wow, you was a little girl.
I was, wasn't I?
And now you a big girl.
Yeah, I was a little girl.
Well, until the next episode, don't forget everybody, life be lifing, but God ain't trifling.
Oh, you made that up right now?
What's the best that can happen?